Hi, this is Dan Brusky, Product Manager for Ultrasonic Sensors, and this is part 2 of the video for UM30-2. I was going to say UC because we have a UC4 and a UC12, and then we have the UM18s and UM30s. And those are all in an ultrasonic demo case, so please get that demo case and use this video to look through it. Also look through part 1 and give some very general instructions on the UM30. And this one we're going to go through some of the advanced functions. So you'll want to look at part 1 and part 2 here. So in the advanced functions, what we're going to do is on the instruction sheet, and you'll need to definitely get your hands on the instruction sheets, and that comes with the sensor. So in the first version, what we did was we went through this section, this section over here, on how to do a push button teach-in. So we call it parameterization of teach-in. So basically this is you move the target to where you want outputs and you hit buttons. And that process was done in part 1. And we taught the 3 switching output modes. We taught the simple switching mode. Here you can see the little line diagram of it's off, 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 and then on when it gets close. A window mode where it's off, turns on for a certain distance, and then back off again. And then also this reflection mode. That's very handy for irregular surfaces so that you get an output anytime there's an object between a reflective surface, just a background, a conveyor, a table, whatever it is, and an object. But here in this one we're going to go through some of the advanced features that are here. And this is what this allows you to do, is do a lot of the same teaching, but actually by typing in the distances that you want. So instead of having to physically move the sensor to the target, now we are setting up our switching output, which is indicated by D, by actually typing in the distance in millimeters or centimeters, or setting up the analog output, which is the IU, which is I for current, and then I don't know, the U is often, we use I for current, 4 to 20, and V we use here for 0 to 10 volts, but often they indicate that with the U when you get products from overseas. So this is the current voltage or current output settings, and you can set that up with the right number you want. As well as setting the normally open or normally closed switching outputs, and on the analog output, which way do you want it scaled? Do you want 4 close and 20 far, or the other way around? So we're going to set those up, as well as just look real quickly here at some of the really advanced features, some of the really cool stuff that can be done with this sensor. We won't go through all of them, but we'll get an idea of what they do and how to basically read this instruction manual. So all that being said, I'm going to put this in front of me here, the instruction sheet, because I need to look at it when we're going through this. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to teach well, really what we're going to do is teach the window mode. This has 3 modes of operation: standard, switch point, and then window operation. But what you'll see and look at this sheet is the standard switch point, the simple switch point, is really a window mode, but you actually just don't set the other window point. So you're really just setting one of the window points. So we're going to go through that. So if you look in the instruction sheet, it'll say hold down T1 and T2. So you'll see in the little text T1 and T2. So now that's where my fingers are. And I'm going to press and hold until it says hello pro. That's either as a pro, that's you, or that means programming. So you can take your pick and whatever you think it means. So it says D right now. If you look at the instruction sheet right there, you'll see T1. If you hit T1, it moves you counterclockwise through the programming. If you hit T2, it moves you clockwise. So I'll show that here. If I hit, I'm going to see which one. T1 is here, and T2, whoa, dropped it. T2 is over here. So if I press T2, oh, I'm out of my mode. That's something that happens. If you don't do something right away, it leaves programming mode. So I'm pressing both buttons, getting back into programming mode. It says D. If I press T2, it moves over to the current section. As you can see in the data sheet, you press T1 and it moves back. So you're basically, through this entire menu, you're just moving counterclockwise or clockwise through the system. So here I'm going to teach a switching output. So I'm on D, which is great. Now it shows on the sheet here. Press T1 and T2 again. There we go. We have a number, 223. Now if I move it, as you can see, I'm not actually measuring a distance. It's just telling me 223, and what's the units? That little point there is underneath mm for millimeters. So right now it's 223 millimeters is the distance. And I can press these buttons, 220, 219, 18, 17. I can press and hold it and it moves faster. I can hit this button here and it'll go up. So basically we're moving again kind of in a clockwise or counterclockwise, moving the numbers up and down, and you can put in whatever distance. Right now it's 240 millimeters. And when I'm done with that set point, I press both of them again. So now I'm reading off the instruction sheet. It says press T1 and T2. There we go. Right now, if you look at the instruction sheet, dash, 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 basically that's my window. I don't have a window. So this would set me up as just a standard switching output at 200 and whatever it was, 30 millimeters. If I want to have a window, now I press and start to put in the second distance, whatever distance that I want. And to get it back, if you set up this window mode, right now I have a window now from 189 to whatever the other one was, 222. That's my window. To get it back again, the instructions say press T2, press and hold T2 until the dash, dash, dash appears. There we are. So basically it goes all the way up and around until you end up dash, dash, dash. So now, right now I have a single switching point. I'm going to press T1 and T2 again like it has in the instructions. And here, that's not an L. That is a switching mode. You're either normally open or normally closed. So if you're reading from left to right, what you're going to say is, right here I am low, oops, I'm sorry, I'm low until I hit my switching point and I go high. If I change it, then I'm now high as I come in, and then when I get close I drop low. So it depends on whether you want normally open or normally closed, you know, whether you want your output high or low. Often people want it on until the target gets close, which is a little backwards than what we do when we demo it, but like for collision avoidance or fill level, you want the output to turn off when you need to stop filling or when you want to stop so you don't run into a wall. You don't want the output to turn on, because if the sensor is damaged, you lost your power, the cable is disconnected, you'll never get that important output. So you want it to be on, saying everything's healthy, and then to turn off when things are bad. So as you can see here, it's very simple to teach it that way. I'm going to go back into the Hello Pro. And last time I taught D, but I'm going to move now clockwise through this and hit D2, or T2, sorry. Now it comes and says IU. That's for my voltage or my current output. And I press both buttons like it says in the example here. And again, it's set up 200 millimeters. I can change my distance to whatever I want. Now I'm just going higher to whatever distance it is that you want to use. So I'll stop at 285. And I press both buttons again. And then you can set the other end. So there's your 4 and your 20. And you can set whatever you want. But basically right now you're setting your 2 points. When I set my 2 points, I'm going to press T1 and T2 again. Now here again we show, do you want a rising or falling output? So this is a rising output where it'll go from 4 to 20, from near to far. Or, I don't know if I changed it, there we go, 20 to 4. So 20 milliamps is when you're near. So basically you put in your 2 points, and then later in this section here you decide which way you want it to go, where you want your 4. Is it near or is it far? Then when I'm done, I press T1 and T2 again. It says end, and yep, I would like to end. So I can either leave it and it'll time out and run, or I can press it again, and now I'm in my running mode. And this thing will auto-detect whether you should be using a current 4 to 20 or if you'd be using a 0 to 10. It'll auto-detect. That is one of the other advanced features that we can use, that we can look at here in the sheet. On the bottom here, there's a lot of these advanced features. And you can get it into in the mode the same way. I'm not going to go through all of them here on the video, because not all of them apply for every application. So there's, I think, we got like 14, 14 different advanced functions. And one of the advanced functions, you can get into changing whether you want it to be an auto detect or not. So this one right here, auto, is right now auto detect between current or voltage, but you can manually set it up to be voltage or current. And that happens when if you have a PLC that does auto detect and this thing that does auto detect, sometimes they don't play nice. So you can force it into one of the other things. A couple of the other really cool features on here, I'll try to keep the things in the right spot, is you can change the display, turning it on and off. That's the first one, A1. You can change the display brightness or actually turn it off so it doesn't attract attention. You can change this thing, as you saw in the video 1, there's a little point that says whether you're looking at centimeters or millimeters, and the other one was percentage. So A2 here it is, you can say a percentage, and so if you have a fill level and you have an analog output giving you where you're full or where you're empty, in a lot of facilities, if you have a bunch of different hoppers and bins of different levels, the person walking around doesn't know what distance is full or empty. So the percentage will tell you, oh, it's 90% full, or it's only 10% full. So as you go through here, there's a lot of other really good features that you can set up. And you do that here by teaching it much the same way. You hold on to it and it says, Hello Pro, and you just keep holding, keep T1 and T2 pressed down approximately 13 seconds, so it does take a while, until the welcoming text is passed through and add for additional things appears. And then you can go through, and in much the same way we just looked at it for teaching distances, is the same way to get those advanced features. And take a look at those advanced features like synchronization, multiplexing, very good things that solve a lot of problems, very difficult problems for your customers. So take a look at video 1 and this and all the other ultrasonic videos as well. You might get some other ideas and tips about how to use ultrasonic sensors. Thank you.